Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope all of you are doing good wherever you are. Today we are going to give you some of the very major breaking news and some of the trending news which are there in the Jammu and Kashmir and which have a deep rooted connection with the landscape of the Jammu and Kashmir politics and the political future of Jammu and Kashmir. The elections are going to be held from 2019 in 2024. The dates have been announced by the Election Commission of India in the three Ps in September and October. What we really need to understand, those political forces which are going to be the critical one, which are going to be the major key players, which are going to come up with the major vote share from the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly elections, and why the dynasty politics has been so prevalent and so dominant that anybody who is about to retire from the Jammu and Kashmir politics is transferring in the heredity, this capital, which is a political capital, from one generation to another generation, whether it be his son, it be his daughter, it be his kids and the kins, it be the other relatives, the nears and the dears. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to really understand whether this is the right criteria, a real criteria, where the political capital, which is actually the public property, which does not have any kind of inheritance rights, so long as those political, tycoons of the Jammu and Kashmir, particularly or specifically, if we talk about the National Conference, which is fielding many new faces, many new candidates in different constituencies. There are the new faces and which have been given the tickets just based on their parents having there in the political party. They have been there from a couple of decades and they've been serving the peoples or winning from this constituency. Today we're going to go and try and deep dig as to whether these new faces are the fit candidates who can really, understand the dynamics of the Kashmiri politics, who really understands the deep rooted problems of the public, really have that ability, that capability, that communication skills, that correspondence, where they can draft a letter and they can write that letter to the respective bureaucrat, to the respective department, when they have to mobilize the department, they have to mobilize the men and the machinery, and they have to get their problems of the constituency, of the peoples, uh, resolved in a timely manner, in the timely timelines. My little sisters, we need to really understand and ponder upon these facts. And we are seeing a huge vacuum as to what the leaders are basically committing to the public in the public appearances, on the digital media, in the social media, on the different media channels. And what is being done on the ground is very minimal, very nominal. We're not seeing, a 10% of that commitment or that project that is there is being achieved. So we got to, check out those faces which are likely to join the politics, which are going to be the new breed of the politicians in the Jammu and Kashmir, and do they really understand the dynamics of the Jammu and Kashmir politics? So let's have a look as to which are these new entrants. First and foremost is the son of Mia Altaf, Mia Meher Ali. He is the one who is likely to contest from the Kangan constituency. His father has been there since decades, serving the peoples and winning from this constituency. But what we really understand, or need to understand, and critically examine whether he's fit face for this constituency, whether he'll be able to, get those issues which are the burning issues, which are the menaces there in the constituency, prevalent since long time and which got unresolved. Those important projects which are there are otherwise the lifeline of the Kangan constituency. Whether there has been enough that's been done by Mike Mialtaf, who is right now the parliamentary member from the constituency of Srinagar, Central Kashmir. So this political heredity, this political capital got transferred now from Mia Altaf to Mia Meher Ali. So really, we have to gauge the performance, in terms of seeing the qualification, seeing the credentials, seeing the public acceptance, seeing the kind of governance experience that he has, seeing how he really corresponds, how he writes. Is he able to write a good email? Is he draft a good letter? Is he able where he can mobilize the men, the machinery, and coordinate with the bureaucrats, with the governance, with the officials, with the departments? This is the way where you gauge the performance. And you need to have a diverse, understanding of the problems that are existing or prevailing in the constituency. So it's a time that will tell us, once if he comes as a candidate from this constituency and if he serves this constituency for the 5 years tenure, and the promises that he gives in the public appearances, whether he has achieved or there is always a minimal that's been done, from the previous political verticals leaderships, whether that trend is going to be continued, something that we need to really ponder, and we have to make a wise use of this mandate, because this is critical, this is crucial, and this is where really our connections are not growing to the standards where they should be in 21st century. We need to really understand where the world has reached in terms of roads, in terms of connectivity, in terms of hospitals, the schools, infrastructure, the basic governance issues, the basic facilities, the water, electricity. Why these facilities are not being reached to the common man? These are something that we need to really understand, why there is a vacuum between what is being told in the public, what it calls appearance, and why a minimal or nominal is being achieved on the ground. Salman Sagar is the second entrant from the national conference. He is the son of Ali Muhammad Sagar from the Khaniyar constituency. So he is also going to carry the legacy of his father when he goes to the peoples, to the public Khaniyar, and asks for the mandate to be the representative of the Jammu and Kashmir. We need to really see if he or his father is going to continue as an candidate from the national conference who are going to contest from this constituency. So also we need to really understand whether he has got those political that qualification, that required qualification, that understanding, the diversity in the understanding, where he understands the problems of the Khaniyar constituency, the connectivity of the roads, the hospitals, infrastructure, water, electricity, inflation, unemployment, all those burning kind of issues, the menace of drugs and other law and order issues. So we need to really understand if he has that expertise, that level of exposure, that level of understanding, that basic credentials, that integrity, honesty, morals, ethicals, so that he can be the real or the right candidate from his constituency. Or does the deliberations happen when this political capital was transferred from Ali Muhammad Sagar to Salman Sagar from the National Conference? Was there enough representation from the public or from the major political, those, opinions which were held, or the kind of a mechanism was followed when this shift or this asset, this political asset was transferred from one generation to another generation? Or we need to really do more. National Congress has to think more need to be done. Or there was no political, verticals figure that could have been really do more. Or that was more wise, good in terms of knowledge, good in terms of understanding the issues that the constituency is really, the diversity of thoughts, and really understand the political dynamics of the Kashmir issue, and is able to handle those issues at turbulent times. Tanveer Sadiq is a well-known figure from the National Conference who is the son of the well-known politician and the late Sadiq Ali. He's been the poet and the environmentalist also. He's been a key close ally of the National Conference founder, Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah. So he is also carrying the legacy, despite the fact that he has been there in the many TV shows and many public appearances. And it seems that he has got a good qualification, he's got a good confidence, he's got good expertise in terms of dealing with matters that are most prevalent, or that are most relevant to the public grievance mechanism is concerned. He's able to better coordinate with the what you call is with the governors, with the bureaucrats, with the officers, with the departments, able to more actually engage with all those who matters the most in terms of getting the problems of the constituency, problems of the peoples, resolved in a timely manner. But he's going to contest now from the ZBL constituency, and it is a matter of time when we will be able to really understand if he was effectively able to deliver on the ground and all the problems that the ZBL is facing from the ground, whether an effective mechanism, whether a kind of a manifesto, a kind of plan, a kind of budget was laid down for this constituency, and all those problems were really put up in the map, and an action plan that was required, whether those kind of action plans are being effectively monitored and executed, and how better they're executed, and how those important projects which are the lifeline for this constituency are being actively monitored and executed, and allotment of funds and their proper complete in a timely manner is being done by this particular leader that's called the Tanveer Sadiq, who is the spokesman of the National Conference. We will see in the future as well, and then we can really say that he was effective on the ground or not. Irshad Rasulkar is the son of the prominent political figure of the North Kashmir, that's Ghulam Rasulkar, who was the member of the Legislative Assembly from the Sopur and the Rapia constituency. Now he is also carrying the legacy, political legacy, despite the fact that he has got a good political exposure. He has got good dealing, with the public. He is actually engaging the officers in the administration, in the government, in the departments, and he has been able to mobilize the men and the machinery for the larger interest of the public. Now the time will tell us that all those problems that the constituency is facing, if he come out, which seems to be, as per the ex concerned, that he is likely to win from this constituency, we need to really ponder upon, and we need to really understand that he was somebody who the people could really believe, and he was somebody who could have really delivered. So really, something, these all the new faces, we need to give them time, obviously, to understand and to really gauge them on based on the performance that they deliver. But very important point is that we need to really make a checklist of all those problems, which are the major problems that are with the daily life. Like the scarcity of the water is one of the major problems in the Sopor. Many of the areas are lacking the road connectivity. There are pit holes in the roads. The menace of the drugs and the menace of the dogs are absolutely prevalent at the moment, from Sopor constituency. So we need to really make sure that how the machinery, the government machinery, has been effectively utilized and mobilized in order to get it from these problems, so that the people, the public at large, gets relief. And we could see in the time, if he comes out and if he really do something that the people are expecting from this a new phase from Sopor constituency. That's something that we have to really understand in the future, and then we'll be able to gauge. Sajjad Shafi, he's the son of Muhammad Shafi from the Uri constituency. Also, he's carrying the legacy of his father, who's been the member of this, assembly, and from this constituency, he's been elected many times, and from past couple of decades, he's been serving this constituency. So we also need to understand this political capital who has been shifted from Muhammad Shafi, from one generation to another generation. Now, as we know that there are many qualified peoples, many distinguished peoples who have the diverse understanding of the political landscape of Jammu and Kashmir, who have worked on the grassroots level, and who knows the grievance of the public, who knows how to effectively engage with with the governors, with the government, with the officials, with the bureaucrats, with the officers, and with all those who matters the most in terms of getting the problems of the public resolved. So let's see how he basically, he's also new face and doesn't got much opportunity. But as I said, the mechanism should be something different. There should be the deliberations, and there should be the representation from the constituency, because all the stakeholders are really showing their confidence on the candidate. If this capital, if this political capital is being shifted from one generation to another generation, as I said many times, that this is not property, inherited property, like the land or the building or the car that could be easily shifted. And in terms of revenue, also this gets recorded. This is a public property, my dear brothers and sisters, and we need to really understand that there has to be a proper mechanism when this political capital gets shifted, or the reins get shifted from one generation to another generation. Javed Riaz Bedar, he's also one of the political leader, the new face who is from the National Conference, retired IPS officer Riaz Bedar. He's the son of Riaz Bedar. And also Riaz Bedar has been one of the prominent figure, knowing the security issues, knowing the governance issues. Obviously, he'll be getting this legacy of having an expertise in the security and the governance issues, obviously. And the gum and the National Conference will be expecting, to those kind of portfolios, could be shared tomorrow if the government of the National Conference, the Congress, obviously as an amalgamation, because they went to the pre-fall alliance, and we need to really see if they come with a major vote share, and if Javed Bedar gets any kind of portfolio, and then we really have to really understand if he's able to deliver to the expectations of the public or not. Something we need to really understand, and then we gauge upon. Hilal Akbar Loon from North Kashmir is also one of the figure who is going to contest from the Sonawari, and he's been somebody who's the son of the former Legislative Assembly, Muhammad Akbar Loon. He's been the ex-parliamentary member from the Baramulla constituency, and also getting this legacy of his father to contest from his constituency. Also, we need to understand and ponder upon if the enough deliberations were held in the public, and there was a support or the mandate of the public that he is the right candidate, the fit candidate for this constituency, that who he is going to be representing the future, or there was no consultations. It was only a dictate, a kind of a monarchist kind of a decision, where the father has decided that he's going to take over the reins and give it to his son. Something a kind of dictatorially in nature when we are talking about the democracy. But we should follow the tenets of democracy also. We should because there's a beauty in democracy that it's not only a son or a father who gets this property in the inherited, but there are consultations, there are deliberations, there is a representation, there are debates, there is a positive and the negative criticism that you obviously has to face. And then you have to get the consensus from the public. Obviously, if any candidate has to get the confidence from the public, and then he has to be the one whom the peoples have acceptance, obviously, and they believe that he has the credibility, he has the integrity, he has the morality, he has those ethics, he has that kind of caliber, he has that kind of qualification, he can better effectively deal with the government, deal with the officers, deal with the men in the machinery and all the problems that are prevalent there in the constituency. Obviously, he's the one who is going to get it, from all those kind of issues. Least but last is the Dilawar Mir. He is the son of the five times MLA Muhammad Dilawar Mir. The Mir family, remember, has the legacy of being dominant in the connections of the Rafiya. But obviously, a couple of times they lost. But overall, if we see, they have been the one who are dominating the show as long as this connections is concerned. Yawar Mir is young, and he's a young politician. Obviously, he has a good etiquette. Obviously, he speaks very nicely. He's got a good flow, and he's good qualified, obviously, and he's been considered as a front runner, obviously. But now we're expecting a fierce battle between the Javed Ahmadar from JKNC, Abdul Ghani Wakil from People's Conference, and Yawar Mir from the Apni Party. We really need to see that who is who's going to really come up as somebody who can represent the aspirations of the peoples in the assembly, and who can really deliver much. As we discussed last time also, that we've got some major projects that got halted despite the fact that many promises were given in the public appearances. Especially, I don't want to take a name, but I know that some peoples have talked that they have pumped the crores of rupees for this project, but that projects who are otherwise the lifelines for the Rafiya constituency still are not even 10% completed or 20% completed, despite more than a decade has lapsed. So we need to really understand if these leaders in a reality are serious to address the problems of the public, or they are just coming and roaming near those election days and getting the public support. And obviously, once they become the they become what you call as the members and the ministers. Obviously, they forget about those promises which were delivered, which were the committed, which were promised to the public, which are most prevalent, which are most important for the public to get rid from these issues. So, Rafi, but also the upper belt is facing the scarcity of the water, the pit holes in the roads are one of the the worst roads that we are seeing in the upper belt of the Ripiyabad. So Yawar Mir has to really, in the manifesto, he has to engage the people, and he has to, whether it be the Yawar Mir or it could be Javed Madar or the Abdul Ghani Wakil, they have to really make a checklist. They have to really make it very visible to the public to understand that what are those issues they are going to work once they are in the power, or they are part of governance, they are part of administration, they are part of what you call as they have the portfolio in hand, obviously. So they are going to work on all those projects, obviously, and actively engage with the governance, obviously, and then they will get those all the issues resolved. As we are seeing that we have the menace of drugs, obviously, menace of dogs, we have scarcity of the water, especially in the upper belt of Rafiabad. And there we are seeing in many of the areas the roads and the communication network is absolutely difficult. Let's hope for the best that all these new faces do something better, and which is about the public expectations. See you next time. Assalamu alaikum.